Okay, so I want to talk about this recent event involving Thunderf00t apparently illegally denying the Holocaust, and it's involved two people. It's involved Hannibal the Victor. And although that isn't actually a picture of Hannibal the Victor, that is his avatar. I've seen Hannibal and the avatar and Hannibal. It's unerring, the similarity. It's so fucking close what they both look like. And a guy called Bewildered Ape. And I've got to declare an interest with regard to Bewildered Ape. I think the guy is an absolute fucking piece of crap. And I thought that before this incident, which is why I say I declare an interest in this. And this is nothing to do with opinions or beliefs or viewpoints, because there are people that I know online and in real life who hold diametrically different viewpoints to myself, who I have a great deal of respect for. But there are certain ways of dealing with things that are just, to me, they are anathema, and I cannot stand seeing people do it. I'm going to spend the next minute and a half giving you an example with Bewildered Ape. If you want to move on to what this video is actually about, move on a minute and a half. But there is a guy called Elam. If you don't know who Elam is, you probably don't fucking want to. I have no time for Elam. Let me make that clear. I probably don't like Elam any more than Bewildered Ape does. But I have certain standards of how I engage with people and how I portray people, and trying not to misportray people accidentally, never mind deliberately misportraying people. Elam had talked about an act of domestic abuse, domestic violence. I don't know exactly what was going on in that example because I haven't seen the footage he was talking about. But Bewildered Ape interspliced the footage of Elam talking about this domestic violence with a totally different incident of domestic violence of a man punching a woman clean in the face. So it looked as if the incident that Elam was talking about was the incident that Bewildered Ape was showing. Now, if that isn't a cunt's trick, if that isn't just the most sinister and wicked misrepresentation of somebody, then I don't know what is. And it doesn't matter how fucked up your viewpoint, nobody deserves to be misrepresented in that kind of a way. But I hope that gives you some idea, if you haven't come across him, of the kind of person that Bewildered Ape is. So what had happened? I know that Bewildered Ape doesn't like Thunderf00t, and that's absolutely fine. But what I didn't know was that one of the things that really motivates Bewildered Ape to get up in the morning is to make sure that no stone is left unturned in guaranteeing that Czech law is upheld at every touch and turn. So you can imagine his consternation when he thought that Thunderf00t had fallen foul, had done something that would be illegal under Czech law, and indulged in some kind of act of Holocaust denial in the larger sense of the word. I must admit, I've seen Thunderf00t talk to Ray Comfort about the Holocaust, and as with a lot of times Thunderf00t gets onto philosophical territory, he's a little bit sketchy, a little bit dodgy, he phrases things very badly, he's very clumsy, and there's almost something sociopathological about the way he talks, in as if he doesn't seem to understand the impact that perhaps the way he will phrase things will have on people. But what I never saw was that he denied that the Holocaust happened, that he denied the severity or the extent of the Holocaust, that he denied that the Holocaust was a repugnant act. In fact, he went on record as to saying that he found it an abhorrent and repugnant act. They're not the words that he used, but that was the thrust of what he said. But in any event, Bewildered Ape seems to think that some Holocaust denialism was taking place there, and that something needs to be done about it. Now, you would think if he's so concerned about Czech law that he would go to the police. Well, this is the comment that I left on his video, and then left a very similar comment on Hannibal's video, and let me just read you out the relevant bit. If Bewildered Ape thought Thunderf00t had broken Czech law and, being as concerned about Czech law as he is, wanted to do the dutiful thing, he should have contacted the Czech police. He didn't. Instead, he made a public YouTube video aimed at Mason's employers, which is what he did. He made a YouTube video, he set it to public, and then he set it as an open letter to Thunderf00t's employers. Compare these two approaches, I went on to say. Number one, contact the police and pass on the information, leaving them to investigate it. They are the appropriate authority. They are the people that ought to action crime. They can decide whether there are grounds or reasons to make the information public, to save you being a low-life scum yourself by erroneously smearing an innocent person. Or the second approach, make a public YouTube video announcing that you suspect that person X has made an illegal remark and direct the video at the person's employer, thereby linking their name, the employer's name, with illegality, irrespective of the guilt of the person you are accusing. Hey, hopefully even if you were wrong and the guy has done nothing whatsoever, he will still get hauled over the coals by his employer and told to keep off the internet for dragging their name through the mud. So I hope you can see where I stand there. If you think it's illegal, go to the police. Don't go to the employer because you think it's illegal. Why are you going to the employer if all you want to do is to avoid going through proper due process? And why would you make it fucking public if you're really concerned about the fact that it is illegality that is taking place? And here's the problem, here's the rub, is that if you were wrong, right, you still end up doing the damage. And how can that be right? How can that be ethical? So I made that comment on Hannibal the Victor's video. And whoa, I wake up this morning and his video has suddenly been set to private. Just let me tell you a few things about Hannibal's video. I don't know whether he was fucking stoned or fucking pissed or what he was, but it was one of the most hyperbolic, bombastic, load of shite videos I think I've ever watched. And it's set private, so I can't show you the kind of stuff he was saying. But to just give you a flavour, what he said was that he thinks that Phil Mason is eventually, his actions are going to lead. Somebody's going to end up dying as a result of what Phil Mason is doing. Somebody is going to be killed because of what Phil Mason is doing on YouTube. And when that happens, and he's talking to me, singled me out several times in the video, me, Concordance, alongside Concordance and Dark Matter, and said that we would have blood on our hands. It would be our responsibility. That death would be our responsibility because we hadn't reined Thunderf00t in. I don't know how I'm expected to fucking rein Thunderf00t in. I don't know, but I hope that when Hannibal works out how I'm supposed to rein Thunderf00t in, perhaps he'll start fucking reining PZ Myers in. And if anybody dies as a result of the shit PZ Myers pulls, I hope Hannibal accepts responsibility for that, as I hope that Hannibal accepts responsibility for all the shit that PZ Myers pulls in the present. So I'd made this comment on here, and the beautiful thing about YouTube now is that your comments are linked to Google+. So even though that video was set to private, I can still get to the comment that I've made and any comments that resulted. And there are two comments that I want to show you that he must have left, Hannibal had left, prior to the video being set to private. And this is what he said to Zenistrad1. Actually, we're holding a bull session on that now. Some things have come to our attention that may have just changed things. You'll have to bear with me. All these fucking bears and bulls, he sounds like a fucking stockbroker. You'll have to bear with me until we can get a better answer. But right now, it's not looking good. It's possible that Bewildered Ape made a mistake that invalidates the reasoning for publishing it in the first place. A later comment that he makes to the same guy, yeah, but it's not really looking good at this point for Bewildered Ape. Now, there's some ambiguity there. I don't really know that what he's talking about here. But this sounds suspiciously like the first step in backing away from the claim, or at least showing some concern that the claim may not have been genuine. But hey, if the claim wasn't genuine, any harm done? Well, if you had done what you should have done, which is to go to the police, if you really felt motivated to try and take somebody down, then perhaps it would be no harm done, because the police would look into it and say, nah, there's nothing to answer here. We've had a look at it. We don't think that this constitutes Holocaust denialism. There's no issue. But that isn't what happened, is it? What happened is that Bewildered Ape made a public video on YouTube, and now, regardless of whether the claim is genuine or not, the name of Thunderf00t's employers is inexorably and permanently linked with Holocaust denialism. And who are they going to take it out on? Are they going to take it out on an anonymous person who posts behind a chimp mask on YouTube, or are they going to take it out on the person that they employ? Well, I think we all know what the answer is there, and even if that doesn't happen with Thunderf00t, good viewer, it could happen to you if somebody pulled this stunt to you. I know that it could happen to me if somebody pulled this stunt to me, and I cannot help but think that perhaps this was just the point all along, that Bewildered Ape knew that this claim wouldn't stand up to water, but it doesn't really fucking matter, because an erroneous claim in these circumstances is almost as good when you adopt these kind of cuntish tactics as a genuine claim. And that is why I cannot abide seeing this kind of thing. Thank you for watching this video. I'd be delighted to know what you think on all of this, and bye for now.